Today our topic is what the samurai and Stoics have in common. At first glance, the samurai of Japan and the Stoic philosophers of ancient Greece and Rome might seem very different. One group is known for their skill with swords and their role as warriors, while the other is known for their deep thinking and focus on inner peace. But if you look closer, you will find that they share many important ideas about life, strength, and how to face challenges. Both the samurai and the Stoics believed in living with purpose, accepting what you cannot control, and focusing on what truly matters. These ideas are not just old wisdom. They can help us in our lives today. The samurai were warriors who lived in Japan hundreds of years ago. They were not just fighters. They were also deeply disciplined and followed a code called Bushido, which means the way of the warrior. This code taught them to live with honor, courage, and loyalty. They believed in facing difficulties with a calm mind and a strong heart. The Stoics, on the other hand, were philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. They taught that life is full of challenges, but we can find peace by focusing on our own thoughts and actions, not on things outside our control. Both the samurai and the Stoics believed that true strength comes from within. One of the most important ideas they shared is the importance of self-control. The samurai trained not only their bodies, but also their minds. They practiced meditation and mindfulness to stay calm and focused, even in the middle of a battle. The Stoics also believed in self-control. They taught that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we react. For example, if someone insults you, you cannot control their words, but you can control whether you get angry or stay calm. Both the samurai and the Stoics understood that self-control is the key to living a good life. Another idea they shared is the importance of living with purpose. The samurai followed their code of Bushido, which gave them a clear sense of duty and honor. They believed that their lives had meaning because they served something greater than themselves, whether it was their lord, their family, or their country. The Stoics also believed in living with purpose. They taught that we should focus on what is truly important, like being a good person, helping others, and living according to our values. Both the samurai and the Stoics believed that a life without purpose is a life wasted. The samurai and the Stoics also shared a deep understanding of impermanence, or the idea that nothing lasts forever. The samurai knew that life could end at any moment, so they lived each day as if it could be their last. This made them appreciate the present and focus on what really mattered. The Stoics also believed in the idea of impermanence. They taught that everything in life is temporary, and we should not get too attached to things like money, fame, or even our own lives. Instead, we should focus on what we can control, like our actions and our character. Both the samurai and the Stoics believed in facing challenges with courage. The samurai were trained to face death without fear. They believed that if they were afraid of death, they could not live with honor. The Stoics also believed in facing challenges with courage. They taught that difficulties are not something to avoid, but something to embrace. They believed that challenges make us stronger and help us grow. For example, if you lose your job, instead of feeling sorry for yourself, you can see it as an opportunity to learn new skills or find a better path. Both the samurai and the Stoics believed that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act in spite of fear. Another important idea they shared is the importance of humility. The samurai believed that true strength comes from humility. They knew that no matter how skilled they were, there was always more to learn. They respected their teachers, their opponents, and even their enemies. The Stoics also believed in humility. They taught that we should not think too highly of ourselves or take credit for things that are not truly ours. For example, if you achieve something great, you should remember that it was not just your effort, but also the help of others, luck, and circumstances that made it possible. Both the samurai and the Stoics knew that humility is the foundation of true wisdom. The samurai and the Stoics also shared a deep respect for nature and the natural order of things. The samurai believed that they were part of a larger world, and they respected the balance of nature. They understood that everything has its place, and they tried to live in harmony with the world around them. The Stoics also believed in the natural order of things. They taught that we should accept the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. They believed that everything happens for a reason, and we should not fight against the natural flow of life. Both the samurai and the Stoics knew that true peace comes from accepting what we cannot change. Finally, both the samurai and the Stoics believed in the importance of community and relationships. The samurai were not lone warriors. They were part of a larger group, and they believed in loyalty and respect for others. They understood that their strength came from their connections with others, not just from their own skills. The Stoics also believed in the importance of relationships. They taught that we are all part of a larger community, and we have a duty to help others and contribute to the greater good. Both the samurai and the Stoics knew that true happiness comes from being connected to others and living a life of service. So, what can we learn from the samurai and the Stoics? First, we can learn the importance of self-control. No matter what happens in life, we can always control our thoughts and actions. Second, we can learn to live with purpose. Instead of just going through the motions, we should focus on what truly matters and live according to our values. Third, we can learn to accept what we cannot control. Life is full of challenges, but we can find peace by focusing on what we can change and letting go of what we cannot. Fourth, we can learn to face challenges with courage. Difficulties are not something to avoid, but something to embrace, because they make us stronger. Fifth, we can learn the importance of humility. True strength comes from knowing that we are not perfect and that there is always more to learn. Sixth, we can learn to respect the natural order of things and live in harmony with the world around us. And finally, we can learn the importance of community and relationships. True happiness comes from being connected to others and living a life of service. The wisdom of the samurai and the Stoics is not just for warriors or philosophers. It is for everyone. Life is full of challenges, but if we follow these principles, we can find strength, peace, and purpose. The samurai and the Stoics lived in very different times and places, but their ideas are timeless. They remind us that no matter what happens in life, we have the power to choose how we respond. We can choose to live with honor, courage, and humility. We can choose to focus on what truly matters and let go of what we cannot control. And we can choose to live a life of purpose and service, connected to others and to the world around us. These are the lessons of the samurai and the Stoics, and they are as relevant today as they were hundreds of years ago.